It's easy to manage your contests. If you're running a photo contest, video contest, essay, or caption contest, it's very simple to go to the contest console to manage your participants. Just go to the right of your contest where it says Actions, and the drop down, you're going to select Contest Console. So this is going to show you all of the photo entries or video entries or even the text entries if it's like an essay contest. So going across, you'll see other information about the person who entered. Notice that you can also search here based on the message itself or the people who entered. This is a great way of finding somebody who has a question about their entry. There's a couple things you could do at the top. One of those is to click here to purge and block IP addresses. So I'm going to show you in a minute how you can identify fraud. And if you find an IP address that keeps on voting repetitively, and it really appears to be a bot or something of that nature, or self-dealing, like somebody just constantly voting on their own thing, and you don't like the activity and that violates your rules, then you can very easily purge and block all of those votes with one action. Over here, you can export the participant list, which you can also do from the campaign screen by choosing Export Participant List and the action dropdown. So as we move over here, next to each one of the entries, you have another set of actions that you can take. And let's take this top one, for example. If you click View Voter IP Addresses, then this is going to show you a little console here that shows you all of the votes. This is a test campaign, so it doesn't have any votes. But there are actually two folders to this. There's a counted and not counted. So you can move things back and forth. If you see something here that you don't like, you can click it to highlight it and move it to the not counted side. That way it still exists. If they have a question about it and say, hey, why did my votes go down? You can say, well, I just did an audit. I took a look and we had to move a few of your votes to the not counted folder. Or maybe you did a purge of an entire IP address because it was showing spam, and that will actually move all of any votes that IP did. It'll automatically move all of those to the not counted folder for you. And if we find something, we have some built-in fraud mechanisms in place programmatically that we're looking for fraud all the time. And if we do find it, we are automatically going to move those into the not counted folder. But once you're in the counted folder, sometimes bots can slip through, and what I tend to do is I will export to CSV all of the votes. It's kind of hard to do when you're in this little window. So once I export this, it's going to include the very first row will be the information from the entrant. So as you can see, the entrant information in blue below, compare it to the voters below to identify fraud. So if this were a live campaign, and not a test, it would show a blue row of information here. It might show the company they work for, the city, county, the browser they're using, like Chrome, the date and time of the entry, the cookie ID that we recorded. Anytime somebody enters, we record a cookie, and anytime somebody votes, we record a cookie, and the IP address that they used when they entered. And the reason that's helpful is what I like to do is I'll go through and look the cookie ID of the entrant. If you don't allow them to vote for themselves and you see the cookie ID is identical, it's definitely self-voting. The IP address would also match in that case. And what you could do is move that to not counted, but you might not care that they're voting for their own entry. That might be just fine. If that's the case, then the only thing I like to look for is a bulk of the same IP addresses, and the date and time is extremely close together. That tends to be bot activity. So if you see something like that slipping through, you would definitely want to export it to CSV. Do a sort in your spreadsheet for IP address. And if you see a bunch of IP addresses clustered together, what you could do is ban that entire block of IP addresses by copying that IP address and then move back over to block IP address and paste it here and then purge and block. And the nice thing about doing it this way versus individually moving things into the not counted folder is if you're in the middle of a contest and there's somebody doing this, you want to block them from doing it in the future. So, 5 minutes before the end of the campaign, they don't go in with their bot and then place a bunch of votes for that entry. So this will forbid them from doing that and will automatically suppress any activity by anyone in that IP address list. So just paste all the IPs you want to get rid of, purge and block, and then close, and it will take care of it for you. Once it's time to declare a winner, that's very simple to do. You can see we've already declared a winner in this particular campaign. You can see the status is winner, and you can change this to something else, but we've already selected this as the winner, so I'm just still going to have that selected as the main winner. But what I can do is I can actually declare a secondary winner. Let's say we did a fan favorite, the person that got the most shares. Then what we can do is actually declare another winner. So for this one, we'll come up with, we can just give it a blue flag because this is kind of like, it's not first, second, third. In this case, what we're doing is we want to show them a ribbon, so we'll keep that just dark blue. And next to the flag, we'll say fan favorite. And on the gallery page where this post shows up, where this entry shows up, it will actually show as fan favorite with the ribbon. So you can have unlimited entries that you declare the winner. So you could have fan favorite. You might do something like most creative. We've seen even some really, quote unquote, boring companies do some really exciting campaigns. We even had a company that sells compliance posters once a year do a poster contest. So they did a contest where they said, hey, show us the most creative thing that you do with your outdated poster from last year. And people did the most amazing things with those posters. It's not just origami. They really built some incredible things and some very useful things, and they posted photos. It was very successful. They had a ton of referred entries, and there were a number of different winners that they named. I remember they definitely had a most creative and fan favorite. They had some different things that they did. It was extremely successful, and we wish you guys success with your contest as well.